I'm here with the boys on the bench, Olly and Jacob from right near Calgary, Alberta, Canada, way out west. A little town called Airdrie. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, boys, that one's called Airdrie, actually.
What's the prevailing joke about your hometown? Let's make it feel like we're with you guys right now.
We like to call it air hole out here because there's a lot of wind blowing through at all times.
Okay. All right, let's get a little background on you guys. Olly, you played for 7 years in the Bangladesh Pro League. What is that like?
It was pretty good, boys. It was a super tough league, boys, but, I think I fit in pretty good there.
I was doing some reading on you. You actually held the record for least amount of time played in one game. What was it, 4 seconds?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's great because it's not zero.
If you can just get a little bit of ice time, boys, it really doesn't matter the time. As long as you touch the ice, boys, you're okay.
Jacob, you played 7 years in the Virgin Island Leagues. I imagine hockey is huge out there.
Oh, yeah, boys, that was a deadly league, just full of grease balls. And it's definitely rocking out there, and I had a really good time over there, especially 7 years. It was a pretty solid career, I'd say.
So did you work on your tan out there and bring it back to Alberta?
Oh, yeah, and I tan like a typical Canadian, so we go white to red real quick. It was a beautiful thing, boys.
Now, you actually hold a record yourself, the most stick infractions in one period. 13 stick infractions in one period. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was a pretty hard record to get. Personally, I think I could have done better, but Coach didn't want me on the ice anymore, so I kept filling up the penalty box. They kept scoring, and then I'd take another one, and Coach just had enough. He actually kicked me out of the game. It was crazy.
Jacob, you can only do so much, man. I get it. So you can find their epis on Facebook. They teach you the fundies of hockey. It's perfect because I'm actually new to the game myself. Now, I'm curious about your experience. Where you guys are at, I'm sure weather's an issue. I mean, getting ice time has got to be hard this time of year, right?
Oh, yeah, boys, it's tough to get ice, but we got some pretty beaut outdoor rinks here, boys. We make it work.
Yeah, but I can't imagine right now it's the best condition. I see some of your episodes on Facebook, and kind of looks a lot like pavement, less like ice.
Yeah, boys, there's a lot of pavement out there right now. But part of being good at the game is being good in every situation. So kind of what we're doing with the fundies is just showing you that you can excel at the game on ice without having to be on ice, boys.
It's all about the fundies.
All about the fundies, boys.
You ever slap on a pair of roller skates, or is that off limits? I'm just wondering why I don't see those.
What are those?
What's roller skates?
It's something that was invented in the 70s for swingers to kind of get the feel like they were ice skating, but, they'd wear these tight leather outfits, very short shorts, bushy hairstyles, and they would kind of skate around in circles. You know what? Never mind. Olly, where'd you get those sick cowboy skates, man?
I got them from my dad. They used to be his way back when he was a young pup. So I found him in his closet one day. I just scooped her up and tossed her on the old slippers.
They fit you great. Now, basically, you boys you just want everybody to be safe and have a successful experience on the ice. So, you're full of tips. You put out 1, 2, sometimes 3 episodes a week on the fundies of hockey. Now, your most recent video tells us what to do when there's a scoutie in the bleachies, which is very important. It's high pressure situation. We have a lot of kids that play junior or high school out here that can relate to this. Now, some of the things I learned, show the scoutie speed, always look at the scouties, even when you're sending missies, eye contact. I didn't know how important eye contact is when the scouties are in the bleachies.
Yeah, it's super important to make eye contact with those scouties, boys, because you want to make sure that they're seeing you, but you can't do that unless you're looking at them. So it's super important to just keep your eye off the game and just do what you can as best you can, but just make sure they're noticing you, boys.
And one thing I had no idea is that scouts actually love cellies.
Oh, yeah, boys. The scouts love it when you can just grease a mean celly. You always want to make sure you're looking at the scouts, boys, and then you just fire a point just so he knows, because the scouties don't care if you score, boys.
Oh, see, this is why we have to ask the professionals like you guys. These are so many misconceptions we're clearing up here. Now, basically, you just want to make sure the tendies drop nuggies in their huggies. That's really the end goal.
Yeah, boys, it's super important to just always shoot as hard as you can. For a person like me, it's pretty easy when you're chucking laser beams like I got. Tend to grease those nuggies in the huggies daily, but you just want to try and bend that timber as much as you can and just really grease her in there, boys.
All right, you guys have a whole epi on TJs, which I was very upset to know was not about me, but instead it's wrapping the presents for Christmas. The toey, the 5 minutes late, the mummy, putting your timber in a cast. What's a TJ? Why is it so important?
Well, boys, a TJ is just a tape job, but this also goes back to the scouties, boys. The scouties always look at what type of TJ you have. If you have a greasy teej, boys, you're not going to get noticed. That's for sure, boys.
No greasy TJs.
You don't want that, boys.
That's what my friends used to call me in high school. Let's go over some terminology here because I don't want anybody to get left in the dust. I want everybody to feel like they're part of this conversation, even somebody who's never stepped on the ice. So just give us some like rapid fire definitions here. Chirping. What is chirping?
Chirping is basically like catcalling rockets, boys, except the exact opposite. You're just trying to tear them down.
I like it. Okay, missies. What are missies?
Missies, boys, is just a quick rubber rocket from the timby, boys. Just shoot the puck quick. That's a missy.
Not to be confused with missing the net. That's we're different things here.
Absolutely.
Greasing your tip?
Oh, greasing your tip, that's just getting in front of that puck and just doing what it takes to get your tip in front of that rubber, boys.
Always put a rubber on the tip. I think, is that what we're getting out of this?
Yeah, boys, you just want to make sure the rubber is on the tip at all times, boys.
And, roll it all the way down while you're at it. The Marchand Specie, what is that?
The Marchand Specie, boys, is just when you're battling in front of the net, boys. You just want to quickly give a hack at his timber, boys.
At his timber.
Well, I think you boys could figure that part out.
Oh, okay. I think I just did figure it out. Ice piggies. What are ice piggies?
Ice piggies, that's the zebras in the stripes, boys. They're always trying to police the game and control it.
Is the game better off without ice piggies? I know they're a necessity, but I'm sure where you guys play on the streets of Alberta.
Oh, far better off without the ice piggies, boys, because then it's just a free-for-all, good old-time hockey, like it should be, boys.
And if I can put 3 and 4 together, I think that's also what you call Anaheim's fifth line.
That's right, boys.
I'm so sorry that your hometown Flames didn't make it past the first round. Luckily, the Preds took care of them in the Western Conference Finals. So are you rooting for the Preds going forward or what?
Ooh, that's a tough one, boys, because as a good Canadian citizen, we want to see Ottawa excel in the playoffs here, but we can't thank the Preds enough for dusting those plugs over in Anaheim.
There's lots of Habs fans up where we are. Do you think the Preds got the better end of the Weber deal or what?
Oh, yeah, for sure, boys.
Who's Weber?
I don't know. I hear a lot about him. I've never actually seen him.
He's probably got a mean missy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Sens were having some goalie troubles. Anderson getting pulled for Condon twice in one game, then Anderson coming in for the 2-1 victory. In reality, we all know Tendy's the easiest position on the team. You guys have any tips for Anderson in Game 7? Stack the pillows, poke check, be bigger than the basket?
The most important thing that he needs to do is just remember that crowd's full of rockets and do whatever it takes to impress them.
That's true, man. Never lose sight of what's important. I agree with that. And if all else fails, just blame it on the D.
That's right, boys.
That's right.
Now, when it comes to watching Game 7, you guys got to have your snacks ready to go. Of course, the U.S., we snack a little bit differently here than even Quebec and Ontario, so I imagine Alberta is a whole nother ball game. What is your Game 7 beer preference, boys? What kind of suds are you crushing?
Boys, for me, that one's a Molson Canadian for sure. A nice ice cold Molson Canadian beer.
And you, Ollie?
I'm a huge fan of the Bacardi Breezers, boys.
Oh, really?
That's just the biggest panty dropper ever.
Chips. Are you guys with the all-dressed life?
I don't mind the all-dress, but I'm more of a sour cream and onion guy.
Ketchup all the way, boys.
Ketchup chips. There you go. That's a Canadian classic. Poutine. Or poutine, as I've been corrected to say. Yay or nay?
Oh, that's a big yay, boys.
Big yay.
That's breakfast, boys.
Beautiful. So I hope you enjoy your Molson Canadians and poutine, just as we will be for Game 7. Go Sens. At this point, who have you got to win?
I'm going the Sens in the first overtime, boys, with a 4-3 win.
Ollie.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Sens too, boys. I think they're going to take it in period 2.
Beautiful. Why even play the third? Guys, from On the Bench, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Would you call back next week? We could talk NHL finals?
We'll definitely try and make that work out. It's been a pleasure to talk with you boys.
Absolutely. And, of course, follow them On the Bench on Facebook, putting out a new epi every 2 days or whatever.
That's right, boys.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot for having us, eh?